The Only Zomboids challenge actually seems a bit easy when you look at it from the point that the soybean pod and snake lily are very, very powerful plants with very good abilities and plant food. But it is a whole nother level when you are asking, can a certain plant beat every level of PvZ2 on its own? Because every plant has its weaknesses and its strengths, even in this case if its strengths outweigh its weaknesses. These next 4 worlds are really going to test Zoybean and Snake Lily. We start out on day 6 of the Lost City, and there's really nothing to worry about special zombie wise. The zombies of Lost City are made for like blocking projectiles, which our plants don't do. So we basically just bypass all that, and the shovel and the Mary Poppins zombie are just regular Joe zombies to us basically. The only thing I am worried about is the amount of zombies they throw at us. I mean, day 6 already has 3 flags, so on day 10 I realized that every single level we're going to be having we're probably going to have to let a zombie get by one way or another, because we can only put out 1 snake lily at the beginning, so if there are more than like 2 zombies, he's kind of just cooked. The sun tiles do help a lot though, and will definitely be the reason we beat some of the later levels. Day 12 we have to produce 5,000 sun. This is one of those levels. Now in other worlds this would be a huge problem for us, but with the sun tiles it was really easy, and we just played the level normal and just let the tiles do the work. The zombies were not a problem either, since we had enough sun to spam snake lilies and soybeans whenever they were off cooldown. Day 15 we had to protect 2 of the noodle things.
What?
This wasn't hard at all. Not only were they helping us kill zombies, but snake lily could kill everything. They also gave us a lot of plant food, which I didn't use. Day 17 is where things get a bit annoying, just because the imps carrying a whole tent on their back. Now these guys are only a nuisance at the beginning of the level, just because we only have 1 snake lily and this thing just keeps spawning zombies over and over again. But eventually the zombies we turned into veggies can take out the tents. Also, they gave us a lot of plant food again that I didn't use. Day 19 was very short, and short levels are my favorite, since it means not a lot of zombies. But even if there is a lot, it gets close enough to the end where I can just take them out with the lawnmowers. Same goes for level 20. It seemed like it was getting overwhelming, but thankfully it was the last flag, so I just let all my lawnmowers do the work. Day 23 was a very normal level. Even when I eventually got my plant food, the Gargantuar also took out my Zomboid Garg. Just by the way, a normal Garg will take out a Zomboid Gargantuar every time, since the Zomboid Gargantuar is slower. But if we have enough snake lilies on the field to hit the regular Gargantuar, then our Zomboid Gargantuar will get 3 hits in before the real one will get 3 hits on it. But in this case, we only had 1 snake lily, and bro wasn't even shooting at their Gargantuar, so ours went down. We lost that level immediately, of course, but I don't even remember the level doing that ever. Probably because in the Only Hypno challenge, our Call of Power just hypnotized him. The next attempt, our Gargantuar actually took him out, and what do you know, we won because we didn't lose our whole setup immediately. Day 24 was going pretty well until, yeah, so we can't place our snake lily above the flowers or that happens. So I placed 1 behind and 2 up front, and we took out the Indiana Jones zombies. I don't know why they made day 25 this easy. Like, I'm not kidding when I say you could have had that as the day 7 level and no one would have batted an eye, but yeah, you do you, man. On day 27 we had to go up against the old heads with the skull. I honestly still don't know how they work, but I'm guessing if they're close enough they'll just blow up your plants. We were doing so well, but in the last wave they started fighting back. And in hindsight, I probably should not have placed the snake lily on the same row as the dude about to obliterate my soybean pod, but next time we got a better setup and had all of our lawnmowers till the end, so we just let him take them out so we didn't have to deal with them again. Day 29 had 3 Gargantuars at the end, and since we can't take them out with our own version, we just lose like every lawnmower we have. Lost World had nothing to write home about other than the typical Gargantuar push at the end of the world, but that is going to change in the far future. Since Snake Lily doesn't actually hypnotize and he just turns, his attacks don't really affect like really big threats that aren't zombies. Far future is going to be pretty bad for this little guy. Since later in the world half of the enemies will just be massive robot pushes, that we'll have to rely on Soybean Pod for. But what I think the thing that will save us will be the power tiles, so we can activate multiple Zomboid Gargantuars on multiple rows with just 1 plant food. Now that's easy in theory, but we'll have to see how that actually goes. Day 7 we run into our first clanker. the Conehead robot. Snake Lily Plant Food Tornado actually does quite a bit of damage to the robots. It's just why waste the plant food that has more potential than that? Also, just the little zomboids themselves can chip away at it pretty well. Day 10 is already like the Disco Headquarters Zombies robot thing. And this thing is super annoying. Our Snake Lily cannot keep up. Eventually though, we had like 3 gargantuars on the field at the same time, so it wasn't too crazy.
Please you need to stop. There are children.
Brains.
Day 13 was pretty hard. I barely got by, but day 15 is extremely frustrating no matter what challenge I do, because what was Crazy Dave thinking putting all these Citron all the way up there? But anyway, this level is extremely difficult because we already struggled with taking out the Coneheads by now, and now we have to take care of them before they get 3 tiles down the lawn. The Citron does do some damage on them, but not enough for the Snake Lilies to finish them off, so we can't get enough soybean pods down to deal with all the lanes at the beginning of each attempt, so I usually let the lawnmowers on the top and bottom go so I can take care of the Conehead robots in the middle. But then if we do this successfully, the final wave is Conehead robots on the 2 lanes we don't have lawnmowers on. Figuring out I'm gonna need to keep my lawnmowers for this to work, I used Snake Lily plant food to take out the early wave I struggled with earlier and eventually actually won. Day 18 we had to produce a whopping 6,000 sun. Now we just spanned sun shrooms everywhere with the power tiles and we got 6,000 pretty easily. And a lot of zomboids. Day 20 is almost as frustrating as protecting those Citron. Here we have a full line of starfruit. And also we have to watch our behind because those stinky Emperor bots spawn behind us. Luckily, Starfruit can deal quite a bit of damage and mop up most of the zombies. We just have to make sure Snake Lily plant food ready just in case they get too close. We ended up using our plant food on the robot imp zombies that come behind, but thankfully since we turned them into zomboid gargantuars and like the ones with like the carrots and watermelons on their heads, they clear out the incoming waves up front when they eventually get up there. Then we use the lawnmower at the end to take care of the red pusher robot. So easy peasy. Day 22 was a planar fence level, and this one was extremely easy because of me putting my plants on the tiles and just using plant food like every single wave. And believe it or not, that is literally the end of all the hard levels of Far Future. It wasn't as big as a threat as I thought, but now on to the Dark Ages. I think that the Dark Ages will be really easy though, honestly. I had been wrong about some other worlds. For all of these levels though, we will have to use sun shrooms since none of these start us out with at least 200 sun. So yeah, we'll have to use sun producers. Starting on day 3, we have to let a lawnmower go because we couldn't get 200 sun in time. But after that, we had a crazy amount of plants. We had 6, but that is a lot for the challenge, so I would say on day 5, we also lost our lawnmower. And I did, but I'm going to stop mentioning losing lawnmowers at the beginning since I lose at least one like every single level. Anyway, I think you guys will be happy to know that the Jester literally has no effect on our plants. Day 6 is what a planar defense level should be. Watching 2 lines of zomboids being created every 10 seconds. It's so beautiful. The powerful zombies with the night helmets on are in the next level, and the day 9 potion buffs were a bit different because it made the zombies faster, but there weren't many of them, so not really difficult at all. Day 11 was going amazing. Also, another thing in our sleeve of tricks is that the wizard zombies don't affect our Snake Lilies like at all. Like, they literally just do nothing to them. They're basically just like a brick wall to protect our soybean pods at this point. Now look at the screen right now. Everything looks like it's going great. What could possibly go wrong here? How are they going to put a tombstone all the way in the back and summon imps from it? Like, bro! Like, they're just grasping at straws since no other zombie in this world does anything to my plants. I didn't mean to do this at all, but my Snake Lily turned the zombie last second and it was barely on the tombstone, so it ate it. Day 14 is the infamous Sunbean and Tombstone level, which is like the kryptonite to like every challenge except like the Only Beans challenge, I guess. So we shouldn't even count this one, right? Right, guys? Right? So if anyone is counting this, this level is unbeatable without the bean. But to be fair, the bean is just to meet the objective, so my plants deal with the zombies just fine, right guys? The next level was a planar defense, but since there are wizard zombies involved this time, I just used 2 rows of Snake Lilies, so they literally just do nothing. Speaking of something that does nothing, the fat gluttonous king zombies get introduced in the next one. Since its ability changes nothing difficulty-wise, our zomboids eventually just get to the back and eat him silly. The last level is like the opposite effect happening. We have to protect these magnet shrooms, and I don't know who to be more mad at, the king zombie who is trying to make my life harder but it does nothing, or the magnet shroom who is trying to make my life easier and it does nothing. I'll just abuse my magnet shroom. Thankfully, they pity us and make the 2 gargantuars at the end come in the only 2 lanes where the magnet shrooms aren't. Right off of the bat, I assume that the Neon Mixtape tour will be pretty difficult due to the world keeping everything kind of like fast paced. But day 4 wasn't that at all. We had enough to deal with everything, like a lot of plant food. Day 7 was exactly what I was expecting. The music was blasting from the very beginning, and we only got 1 snake lily down, so we immediately lost like 3 lawnmowers. That would not be as bad if the flag did not immediately summon about 25 zombies, and we only had like 2 snake lilies down on the field. After this, I was actually about to blow up thinking what the rest of the world would be like, but putting a snake lily all the way in the back row can barely pick off every zombie at the beginning, so we didn't lose any lawnmowers in time for the first flag. Now this first wave was still too much for the snake lilies we had, so I deliberately set off the lawnmower on the second to last row to take care of the bucket head with the plant food. With our plant food, we try to take out the wave, but there were still too many zombies and all my snake lilies for focusing on bigger and better things, I guess. The next attempt wasn't too good either, and it came down to my final line of defense, my Zoe Beam pod. After the same result over and over again, I beat the level with some producers. Okay, I get it. But it is a huge difference between it being possible with or without some producers, so I'm just making sure it's possible with them. Other than a single gargantuar, day 12 was really simple. We had enough snake lilies to stun him long enough for our garg to take him out. For a planar defense level with these huge waves, I tried a row of zomboids with a row of snake lilies 2 tiles up. We started to lose a couple of plants near the end, but I thought we were getting pretty close to the end, so I thought we had this in the bag. After all the zombies took out all my lawnmowers home, the actual final wave came, like, I tried a strategy with just using snake lilies, but somehow it was like even worse. Just like the cauliflower or any plant like this, whenever they are all targeting one zombie, sometimes the tornado retargets and other times it literally just completely disappears and goes back on cooldown. So basically when you have more of these really good plants, they get like way dumber and way worse. So since there are only so many things you can change up in a planar defense level, this one is impossible. We then had a fairly easy level protecting these fat beats on day 15. Day 18 was only 1 flag at the very end, so you know that was about to be free for this challenge. Day 20 only had 2 flags and was easy until the last flag where we got overwhelmed. But thankfully we had all of our lawnmowers. On day 21 we couldn't let them trample the flowers, so of course I fell a couple of times immediately. On the 3rd attempt though, I set off a lawnmower early to take care of the zombie, and then it was kind of a smooth sailing until the last wave. Then guess what? The same row that the gargantuar came on, you guessed it, is the same row I let the lawnmower go up. I stopped recording since I spent like an hour on this level and said to myself that I was just unpause it when I knew I would win, but I kind of forgot, so here's just the last few seconds of the winning attempt. Yeah. Then the arcade zombie on level 23, which is basically just the imp tent from Lost City. It's probably even worse though since he just keeps pushing it closer to you, and it's even more annoying when they pull bull like this when I'm just about to beat the level. I then placed a snake lily, but then it targeted a zombie farther away, like what the crap? To beat this level we just have to rely on it doing nothing like that. The next planar defense was thankfully easier than the last one, to say the least. The arcade zombies don't really do a lot when you already have 2 columns of plants. Day 25 was an easy peasy 1 flagger. Then protecting all these shrooms was almost a first try, but got eaten at the very end. Next attempt I set up the lawnmower early to kill the gargantuar so my snake lilies would actually focus on the lanes where the zombies are about to eat my shrooms. But the final threat of this world, the boombox zombies, which were extremely annoying to say the least. Maybe it was just because I'm using the plants that have long cooldowns, but I feel like the boombox falling in love segment lasts like way too long, bro. But just like that other level, I only got the last few seconds of me beating it. I'm sorry. Day 29 was very easy. Day 30 we couldn't have more than 15 plants for this challenge, but for this challenge it wasn't a problem. So we would just worry about the zombies. But even if it was a problem, I would probably just forget anyways, so I don't really know why, but the boombox zombies did nothing this level, and because of that it was very simple. And with that concludes the next 4 worlds. So the last ones are the big 3, but I have a feeling some of these worlds might be easier.